to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
Good morning. Welcome to another hour of This Week in Marketing. This is your host, Bill Wynn with AMA San Diego. Joining me in the studio once again is my colleague, Sam Wheeler. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning.
We're going to be doing a preview today of our exciting Art of Marketing conference. This is our biggest event of the year, and typically a ton of fun. We're going to talk to our chair of the event this morning and also our chapter president. We've also got on the line our one of our keynote speakers. We're going to do a little preview of his talk and get his perspective on some other things going on in marketing right now. So before we get to that, I'll just remind everyone when the Art of Marketing Conference actually is. It is May 11th in Mission Valley. You can find out more about the event and register at sdama.org. We also have coming up here very soon, in just 2 weeks, our spring mixer, which will be taking place up in UTC. It is April 18th, so you can also find that event on the website, sdama.org. So let's get it kicked off here. I'll first introduce our chapter president, Christine Wiley. Christine is our president for this board year, and she is also the marketing director for the National MS Society here in San Diego. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Of course. My pleasure. Also joining us this morning is Matt Parisi. Matt Parisi is the chair of this year's Art of Marketing Conference. It's a big job, but he's up to the task. He's also the product marketing manager at a software company called Telium. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So then, and now also joining us on the line is Corey Trefiletti. Corey is one of our keynote speakers and the CMO of Voicera. Corey, are you there?
I am indeed here.
Excellent. Thank you for joining us, Corey. So let's get us kicked off. I will start by saying that that the Art of Marketing Conference is one of my favorite things about this organization. It was my initial exposure to AMA San Diego. Before I had ever even been to an AMA San Diego event, I raised my hand and wanted to get involved and became the chair of the communications committee for the 2015 Art of Marketing, which led to all kinds of other stuff, including this microphone here. And so I think this is a great event. It's a great chance for folks to stay current on what's going on in marketing. It's a great opportunity to get a perspective on what's going on in marketing, specifically in San Diego. And it's a fantastic chance to network with more than 200 other marketers and peers and colleagues here also in San Diego. So I encourage everyone to attend, get involved, participate. You'll get a ton out of it. So, Christine, let me start with you, and maybe just tell to everyone what your experience has been with Art of Marketing. What do you love about this event?
Absolutely. This is our 7th year of the Art of Marketing Conference, and this will be the 3rd year that I'm attending. What I really love about this conference is that you receive a lot of insights. You meet and connect with a lot of people, marketers. You really get to learn what's next in marketing and be able to take practical tidbits throughout the conference right back to the office, to your marketing plan, and be able to put those into motion. So I think what I really love it is that, it is a great educational event, but it's also very network focused. And so you can get information, resources, connect with others. And it's just really a great day that has some different activities that really appeals to all different types of marketers.
Matt, how about you? What's been your experience with Art of Marketing?
You know, in San Diego, we have quite a diverse market for marketing. You know, there's a lot of healthcare. There's, I work in the software industry. There's military out there, professional sports. There's not too many opportunities to get together with that diverse array and just see the different approaches people are taking, the different, even not necessarily only the marketing, but also just in their jobs and what the different jobs are that are out there. I mean, the way that biotech companies and healthcare companies market is radically different from the ways that software companies market. So it's interesting to take to see those different perspectives and to hear from different people in the industry. And there aren't too many opportunities in San Diego to get that wide exposure to the whole community. So I really look forward to the networking opportunities. In addition to the great content that, of course, will be at the conference.
Yeah. So, Matt, this next one will be for you first. Our theme this year is breaking through the noise. What does that mean?
Yeah, breaking through the noise. So of course, as the theme, we wanted something that would fit that diverse array of the audience that's out there in San Diego, something that's going to be relevant to everybody and something that everybody is going to deal with in the market, whether it's internal at their job, being marketed to as a consumer or trying to reach your target customer. Breaking through the noise is something that we all, as marketers, are struggling with, and it's a particularly relevant challenge these days, just with the number of voices that are out there. These days, brands are becoming their own content producers and their own media outlets unto themselves, and with a lot of the privacy laws that are coming out there, brands really need to take the consumer relationship by the horns. Kind of have a direct relationship with their customers, which hasn't always been the case. There have typically been more gatekeepers in the world. So seeing those gates come down is nice, but ultimately it means that we all have to do a little bit more work to reach our target customer, whether that's using different technologies, using different strategies, working with different kinds of people. So I think, breaking noise is a topic that kind of encapsulates all of that in one nice theme. And I think, we'll be able to talk about a lot of different diverse kind of topics within that bucket.
Yeah, and I can say that as a business development person tasked with growing a digital agency, that's one of the challenges I see all the time, right? Is all the channels and strategies and tactics out there, which can we use effectively, and what are other agencies doing, what are other brands doing, and also what are customers responding to, right? What is gaining mind share in the inbox or in the social media feed or out there on the web, right? So that's fascinating stuff to me. Christine, how about you? How do you think that breaking through the noise applies this year?
I think breaking through the noise. For the AMA, we're really dedicated to serving those who work and teach and study in the marketing industry. And we really want to connect members to their purpose and what's next in marketing. And so with this event, we're really able to connect people and cut through the noise and really trying to untangle the marketing mess. So really being able to give people resources and training to help them evolve their ideas into real world solutions. That's how I see this theme, breaking through the noise, really being very practical, giving real world solutions to those everyday marketers that need to cut through the mess.
Okay. And for folks who have been to previous Art of Marketing, I'll stay with you on this one, Christine. They've been to previous conferences like this. What can they expect in terms of how this event will be similar or different to prior years?
Absolutely. So this event, the way that it's structured, we give a different opportunity for people based on their learning style. So we have panels, we have one-on-one sessions, we have more workshop types of sessions, and this really applies to giving people the way that they want to learn and being able to interact in different situations and really be able to bring the problems that they're facing in their jobs to this conference to be able to talk out with other industry experts and to those people that are also dealing with similar problems within their workplace and be able to bring them back to their office and be able to put them into action right away.
Will you be doing any singing and dancing on stage?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Because I've heard from a lot of people. A lot of people are very interested in your big production number, right? So there's going to be a lot of disappointment if you don't come through on a big song and dance routine.
Well, I'll have to pencil that in.
Okay. Yeah. Start working on that. So, Matt, how about you? How do you think this year's conference is taking shape? How do you think it'll resemble last year's, for example?
So last year was actually my first experience with Art of Marketing, and it was just a just a fantastic event, just really well run, a lot of variety, like Christine was talking about and speaking to. I really enjoyed it. The fact that at any given time you could really choose between a variety of sessions that would cater to kind of what you were in the mood to do. I don't know about everybody else out there, but at conferences I tend to go through a roller coaster of kind of whether or not I'm into it or not. So, what tends to happen is sometimes I'm more in the mood for a presentation. Sometimes I'm more in the mood to interact with people, actually talk to people. So, the art of marketing, the format is diverse in that way. And I think not only the formats are diverse, but it's also diverse as far as what the content's going to be and what the speakers will be and the other people who will be in the room. So I think that's the biggest thing for me is that you really have the opportunity to pick kind of what you'd like to be doing at any given time. If you want to sit in a panel and kind of ask questions and be a little bit more interactive, we'll have those versus ones that are, more presentation, inspiration, get to hear from, some more of a thought leadership, more of a traditional kind of TED style talk. We're hoping to keep them, the sessions at a length that people can kind of keep track of. So it should be really, really fun no matter how you like to learn.
Okay, great. So we'll stop there. When we get back, we'll check in with our keynote speaker, Corey Trafiletti. You're listening to This Week in Marketing on WSRadio.com, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
A podcast or radio show on WS Radio is a great way to create content marketing. Turn prospects into customers into raving fans. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on VinVillage Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The WorldLink program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What?, Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
So we're back. This is your host, Bill Wynn. We're doing a preview this morning of our Art of Marketing conference coming up May 11th in Mission Valley. Hope to see everyone there. Let's turn our attention now to Corey Trefaletti. As I said in our introduction, Corey is the CMO of Voicera. Corey, are you still there with us?
I am indeed. Can you hear me?
I am. Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So let's start maybe by talking about Voicera a little bit. What does the company do?
So we started the company with this basic concept that you spend a lot of your day in meetings. And unfortunately, meetings, though the promise is that they're supposed to be the most collaborative and probably the most useful part of your day, they really aren't. They are disconnected from how people collaborate in the workplace. And so we wanted to try and fix that. We wanted to make meetings a lot better. So what we've done is we've put Eva. So Eva is an enterprise virtual assistant, and Eva can dial into any meeting that you have, any conference call. And pretty soon with our mobile app, which is about to launch, you can have Eva in a one-on-one meeting when there is no conference call line to dial into. And Eva listens in, takes notes, records the conversation, and provides you with all the notes, as well as a full recording and transcript afterwards. And Eva sends that information to you in email, then you can share it. You can push it up directly into Salesforce. You can push it into Slack so it can be acted on with the people on your team a lot faster. So it's fantastic. And the AI component is pretty amazing because it really does take notes for you. It identifies the most important moments in the conversation and surfaces those for you later.
So this is really, I think, pertinent to kind of this moment in time, right? Because I think people are fascinated by the idea of AI, but I think people throw around that acronym without knowing what it really is, right? Like marketers think, well, I need to incorporate AI, right? Everyone's doing AI. I got to do something with AI, but they don't know what or how, right? So your product is or service is a real world application of AI, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You can look at how different companies position themselves, and it happens across the board, where at one point people started to promote themselves as mobile or mobile-centric or mobile-first, and then people started to promote themselves as being data-driven or data-centric, and then people started to promote themselves as being AI inclusive or something else. Mostly, I think you really want to look at the companies that are trying to solve a problem, and maybe AI is an arrow in the quiver that they have to go solve that problem, or maybe data is an arrow in that quiver that they have to shoot at to solve the problem. And so there's a lot of people who are definitely utilizing the term AI in the marketing and the positioning of what they do. But I fundamentally think it's a solution. It's a way of tackling a problem. For us, the problem is that meetings are less productive than they should be. And for us, the solution is that AI can be a strong component of that.
Okay. And so, Corey, what is your background? What kind of led you to this point in your career?
So I love to say that I had orchestrated my whole path. I can't say that I have, but being a marketer, I like to look backwards and say that I did. I started doing digital marketing back in 1994 and 1995, and I helped start a couple different digital ad agencies along the way, and we really tried to set the groundwork and the foundation for how people were going to utilize the internet as a marketing medium and as an advertising medium. So I did that for a number of years, and then I got into doing consulting. So we had started a company called Catalyst, and we were doing outsourced CMO and CRO work for venture-backed ad tech companies, in addition to large brands like Del Monte Foods and Fiat and some other brands like that. And I took that concept and then I parlayed it into going in-house and running marketing for a company called BlueKai, which was the first DMP and data exchange for marketers. And we sold BlueKai to Oracle, and I ran marketing for the Oracle Data Cloud for about 4 years, until about 6 or 7 months ago when I decided I'd go back into the startup world one more time and get out of doing ad tech and MarTech and go into a completely different world of AI and more of a consumerized B2B approach where we're helping to push this piece of technology towards consumers for use in a business environment. And that's gotten me to where I'm at right now.
So what do you see is the current state of AI in general? How functional is it today? How far has it come?
It's an interesting question. There's a guy named Andrew Ng out of Stanford who I saw speak about 2 years ago, and he was the first person I saw who had a conversation publicly around AI that wasn't based on what we saw in the Terminator movies. And he had said that AI at the time, and this is 2 years ago, really could only replicate what it takes the human brain between 2 to 3 seconds to do. So at that point, you're really talking about basic analytics, basic observation, really, really basic computation. And that's really what AI's ability was at that time. If you fast forward now, so 2 years later, what we're starting to see is that AI is being utilized to automate some of the more mundane components of a person's daily life. So in our environment, we're using AI to take notes. There's other people that are using AI to do calendaring. Obviously, you've got larger use cases like what Waze does and what Google Maps does with Waze baked into it, where AI will help redirect you to avoid traffic. So really, AI, the state of AI right now, is just to automate some of those things that are in our daily lives and allow us to get to doing other things. And I don't think there's any one person in the world who would not say that at some point along the way, they've agreed with the statement that there's not enough time in the day to do what needs to get done. Well, with some element of AI incorporated into your day, you do have the ability to get more done because those more mundane things can get accomplished without your input.
Right, but by the same token, it seems like a lot of people are kind of nervous about AI right now, right? Like we've got these devices listening to us in our homes. I don't happen to. I haven't gotten there yet, but obviously I know people who do, right? And so those are supposed to be time savers and convenience creators, right? But they also present exposures and risks that perhaps we don't fully understand yet. What's your take on kind of that that balancing act?
Well, I think that generation to generation, this is always going to be a concern as technology becomes more embedded into our daily lives. If you go back, however, how long you want to go back, and you start to think about just the way that the internet started to create mounds and mounds of data. And now we're at this point where people are starting to question if there's too much data out there and there's too much freedom of that data. And so that then creates an environment where there has to be some sort of regulation or some sort of consideration for consumer privacy that hasn't been taken into account as of yet. But at the same time, you've got a generation of people that expose everything about their daily lives on the internet through social media. And so there are elements of each generation where there's a comfort level with having that information be more available or be available to technology to simplify and or improve their daily life. As you think about some of the tools like Alexa and Siri and all of those things, which is really where those concerns are coming from right now, there's a generation that's not going to understand that there is not a clear mutually beneficial value being stated there. I'll use my kids as an example. My kids don't necessarily have that concern about data and privacy yet. As they get older, it will become something that's more top of mind to them. For now, they talk to AI all the time. I have Alexas in my kids' rooms, which we originally intended to put it in there so they could control and listen to music and they could do some more fun things like that. But now it's almost like the next iteration of their imaginary friend. Because I'll walk past my kids' rooms and I'll hear them talking to Alexa, and Alexa's talking back. And they're asking it questions, and they're asking it to play games, and they're doing all kinds of interesting things. So they see a value and a fair exchange of information in exchange for some sort of entertainment that maybe past generations didn't. But as they get older, they'll have more of a concern for some of their privacy and some of their own considerations that way.
Interesting. Thank you. And so I know from looking at Voicera's website that its assertion is that voice is such a tremendously important application for AI. Can you explain to our listeners, of all the potential applications for AI that are out there, why voice is so important?
Sure. If you look at the way technology has been developed over the last 60 years. We've reached a tipping point now, which is really, really interesting when you think about it. Up until now, we had to go learn the language of computers in order to get computers to do things for us. So for us to program machines, we had to learn programming languages. And there was an interface that had to be created where we had to learn whatever it was, whether it's C++ or just basic HTML or all these other different programming languages that exist for us to get machines to do what we need them to do. Well, now the machines have gotten just smart enough where they understand what we're saying. And the tipping point is that I don't have to go learn the language of the machine to get it to do something when the machine has now learned my language and can understand what I'm asking it to do. And so voice becomes a really, really important interface. It's almost a UI design for how we're going to interact with technology going forward. I don't have to go to a computer and type in what's the weather going to be, and I don't have to have somebody have created a program or a website for me to go punch in and try and figure out what the weather is going to be when I can simply talk to a device and ask it what the weather is going to be. You know, I don't have to rely on someone who's created a switch in my house to turn on the lights when I can literally talk to the lights and tell the lights to turn on and off. And so voice becomes really, really important in that environment. And there's three really important ways people are using voice.
Hey, Corey, hold on. Let me stop you there. Let me stop you there. We're about at the end of our segment. Let's hold that thought, and I'm going to ask you for those three things when we come back after the break, okay?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, so you're listening to This Week in Marketing on WS Radio, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
Securing Our eCity Foundation is a nonprofit organization focused on cybersecurity awareness and education. Formed in 2011, their mission is to enable every San Diegan to live, work, and play safely in the cyber world. For more information, visit securingourecity.org or call 619-630-2444. Securingourecity.org, 619-630-2444. Securingourecity.org.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Kinja Dixon was crowned the #1 sales executive through hard work, deep thinking, and the revelation of Universal Talk Laws. He now wants to share these lessons with you. Universal Talk Laws are what you need to know and use in business and at home to have successful and effective conversations. Kinja Dixon shares his wisdom, action plans, and wealth. Each book comes with a chance to win $10,000. Find Universal Talk Laws at KinjaDixon.com.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
Welcome back. This is your host, Bill Wynn with AMA San Diego. We are doing our Art of Marketing conference preview with a number of guests here today. Just a quick reminder, the event takes place May 11th in Mission Valley. Find out more at sdama.org. Also, we've got a big spring mixer coming up April 18th in UTC. Should be a ton of fun at a place called Smoke Yard Barbecue and Chop Shop. It's a new place in UTC that has graciously agreed to host us, and should be great food and libations, and a great group of people there that night. We're expecting a big turnout, so don't delay. Get your tickets online. So back to talking to Corey Trefiletti, who is one of our keynote speakers for Art of Marketing. Corey, you were about to enlighten us on three key points. What were those?
I was actually getting really excited about the barbecue you were just talking about, too. But
hey, we would love to have you. Please be there.
Count me in.
All right, cool.
So the three big things around AI and voice. So there's three pillars of the landscape of voice that we've seen and I think are pretty useful for people to understand how to compartmentalize the different types of companies in the space. One is around voice that drives actions. And so you think about that as the way people are using a lot of with Amazon Alexa and some of the Google Home devices, where they're getting a machine to do something for them. And that could be to buy a product and have it delivered to their home. It could be to turn on the lights. It could be to play a game, etc. So when you're talking to a machine and you're saying something like, Alexa, turn off the lights, or Alexa, play a song, that's an action-oriented request. Now, there's also an information-oriented request, which is when you talk to a machine and you ask it for information. And a lot of people use the Google Home devices specifically for this, which is, I want to know the weather. So they'll say, okay, Google, tell me what the weather is going to be. Or they'll say to their Siri device on their phone, how do I get from point A to point B? Give me the right direction. And that's an information-oriented request. The area that we think is really valuable, and I think the area that is probably under-tapped so far, is not a person talking to a machine, but it's where you have a machine in the room to extract value from a conversation between two people, or three people, or four people. And so for us, that's really the area that we've focused on, where in a meeting environment, you've got more than one person in that room, and they're attempting to collaborate, and the machine is there to extract value and to surface information that may have not been caught otherwise, and to make it easier for the people in the room to do the follow-up. And there's definitely going to be other use cases like that, where you've got machines that are more innocent bystander to extract value and surface and enable activation of information. And that's really the area that we focus on.
Excellent. So what possibilities do you see for AI, for artificial intelligence down the road, right? I mean, it's come a long way, and I think we're starting to see some real beneficial applications for it. What comes next? What are you excited about in that space?
Just the increasing intelligence of the AI. I think maybe even you mentioned it a little while ago. A lot of people get worried about AI replacing people and replacing roles. And I don't really see that happening for at least 50 years. I don't think AI is going to progress to the point where it can literally replace a person, but I do love the concept of it replacing those mundane elements of my day and making it significantly easier for me to focus my time on being strategic and being impactful. I always look at the differences between more revolutionary change and more iterative change, whereas I want to be more revolutionary in my ability to do my job, and I don't want to be iterative. I don't want to sit here and look at a dashboard and make little tiny tweaks and see increases in campaign performance by 0.1%. I want to find step change function. I want to actually see things there. I can improve performance of campaigns by 10, 20%. I want to improve the efficiency of my day by 10 to 20%. Being able to not have to worry about answering all of my email to do scheduling, having something like an X.AI in place there or some other tool that can just respond and schedule everything for me. Being able to set up call-in information, being able to have something take notes in my meetings, those are portions of my day that are not as impactful as me using my brain to solve problems can be.
I like that. So let's step up, right? Let's get from 10,000 feet to 30,000 feet. What major trends do you see happening in marketing today?
Well, I'd say there's two or three really, really big, important ones. The first one is just consolidation. It used to be really complicated, especially in a digital environment, for a marketer to spend their time and their dollars, because they were taking a budget of whatever they have, a few $1 million to work with or many millions of dollars to work with, and then they're building out these relatively complicated marketing plans that have many, many different partners, and there's data being passed back and forth, and there's technology for doing serving and for tracking and attribution, et cetera. I think consolidation in the industry is going to make it significantly easier to find ways to spend that money. And you're going to find that already most marketers spend the majority of their dollars with Google and Facebook. And so 80% of the dollars being spent in digital are being spent with those two players, and everybody else is fighting for the leftover 20%. The epiphany that marketers are starting to have is that I don't need to go with 15, 16, 20 different partners to execute campaigns. I can work with 3 or 4 because they have multiple channels for me to work with. They have, in many cases, all the tools that I need to be able to implement a campaign in a digital environment. And they give me options. They give me the ability to optimize. They give me attribution that I couldn't get if I went across too many different channels. So I think that consolidation is one really, really important element that is starting to come home to roost. And I think it's going to see a weeding out of a lot of smaller players and a lot of smaller companies that were vying for that leftover 20%. Another big trend that I think has really started to gain a lot of momentum in the last couple of weeks here is around data. I come out of the data space, and I come out of helping marketers understand different ways to use data, especially when it comes to third-party data. The issues that we're hearing right now around the consumer privacy and data challenges that Facebook is dealing with currently is going to have an impact on how marketers view data, especially third-party data. This story itself has already gotten about 3 weeks more legs than most previous stories. And so it's really starting to settle in, and people are really having to deal with the concept of what kinds of third-party data can I allow and how much data is going to be available to me and how much data do I really need to improve the effectiveness of my campaigns, especially as I'm focusing my time and attention on maybe 1 or 2 players. So I think that there's a lot that's going to happen in the data space over the next couple of months, definitely the next year or so.
Yeah, I would have to agree. That's pretty big. Any other big trends?
There's definitely the continued trend towards video. I think more immersive video. What you're starting to see is that the costs for technology to do things like 360-degree video, to do VR, to do AR, all of these things coupled with the fact that they're showing up on mobile devices and the price point to get those mobile devices is relatively static. So, buying an iPhone, buying a Samsung device, buying an Android device, those are pretty static prices. But all of those VR, AR, and immersive video formats are now available in those phones. I think you're starting to see even more content development in a video environment, more engagement with brands in a video environment. That's something that 10 years ago was almost unheard of because it was too expensive for the average consumer to go create high-end video, and now it's at everybody's fingertips. So that makes it even easier for brands to figure out how to engage with people in that environment too.
Yep, that makes sense. So what opportunities or strategies or tools, what areas do you see marketers really struggling with today, right? What presents a challenge that's kind of forming a roadblock to marketers today?
I still think the biggest problem that a marketer has is attribution. There are a lot of tools that proclaim to have some sort of model for attribution in a digital environment, but marketers are still trying to figure out cross-channel when they think offline and online and how they're going to spend their media dollars and how they're going to balance the mix across online and offline channels. That's still a very, very difficult problem for them. And it's not that there's no solution. There actually are solutions out there, but they're extremely complicated. And they require an increase in the resources that you have against data science. And they also require patience, which marketers are typically not known to have, myself being one of them, where as soon as my numbers start to slip, I go into massive panic time and let's go try and figure out how to fix it. I think that's indicative of most marketers. Attribution requires patience. You have to identify the model that you're going to live with, and you've got to live with it for at least 2 years. It's got to be something that you're willing to commit to, because you need that length of time to be able to see a trend in the balance between online and offline. And you may be able to optimize your digital-centric online campaigns much faster than that, but you need to understand the impact of going and telling your story in a brand environment in an offline space to the more DR-centric, customer acquisition-oriented digital strategies you've got. And you've got to know that they play off of one another, and one influences the other. And a true cross-channel attribution model would tell you that. And I think you start to see that large P&G companies, large packaged goods companies rather, they commit to those long-term media mix modeling and attribution models, and they feel confident in those. Whereas a lot of earlier stage companies, a lot of smaller companies that maybe haven't had the time and the resources to invest in those, they don't benefit from that patience and from that commitment to whatever model they've identified.
Yeah. Okay, so let me stop you there. Corey, can you hang with us for one more break and join us for the final segment?
Sure.
Okay,
Absolutely.
awesome. Yeah, a couple more questions for you. So you're listening to This Week in Marketing with AMA San Diego on WSRadio.com, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple, and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com, on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Nowadays, internet devices are an integral part of your home. Everyone in your family has a smartphone, tablet, or a computer. Life is easier knowing that all your devices are secured and your family can surf the internet carefree. ESET Multi-Device Security Pack does just that. One license for all your devices. With ESET, it's simple to stay protected and save money. Enjoy safer technology with ESET Multi-Device Security Pack at ESET.com. That's ESET.com.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goli, one thing that you have helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get to the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
Did you know the majority of radio listeners are between the ages of 35 and 54, have a household income of more than $100,000, are classified as executives or professionals, and share the show they listen to? Become part of the Peggy Smedley Show to reach listeners looking for information on connected devices through cost-effective radio commercials or segment sponsorships. Contact us at 630-933-0844 for more information or visit PeggySmedleyShow.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to This Week in Marketing, brought to you by the San Diego chapter of the American Marketing Association.
Welcome back. This is your host, Bill Wynn, for our final segment, previewing this year's Art of Marketing Conference, May 11th at Mission Valley. Find out more at sdama.org. Corey, are you back with me?
I am indeed.
Awesome. So, Corey, tell me, if you will, what about the Art of Marketing Conference that you are looking forward to?
Well, I like these kinds of conferences because of really one big thing, which is that on a day-to-day basis, I'm sitting trying to solve certain problems, certain challenges that I have in my day-to-day to grow my business. But getting out and going out and being tasked to either speak about what I think other people are looking for from a challenge and solution perspective, or just engaging with people one-on-one and talking with them and hearing what their challenges are and how they've solved them, it allows me to think about things in a different way. It allows me to connect the dots in a way that I wouldn't have been forced to try and connect if I was just sitting at my desk talking with my team about our own problems. You can learn a lot by understanding similar challenges in different categories that other people are trying to solve for, and then repositioning their solutions to try and fit your needs. Just that ability to go out and talk and hear and be forced to think about things in a different way. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I can see that being a plus for you. And then how do you suppose that your experience, your perspective, your talk will relate to our theme, breaking through the noise? Well,
what I was going to do is talk on a couple of the larger trends that people are hearing about and separate the fact and fiction from what is real versus what is maybe hyperbole and what people are talking about. And I think I have a unique perspective because up until about 7 months ago, for the last 10 years or so, I was one of the ones creating a lot of the noise. I went from being somebody who was out there marketing products to marketers back to being a marketer. And so I feel like I have a unique perspective to be able to cut through the BS in many ways and to understand where someone is just telling a positioning story to try and increase the perception of value in their company versus providing real value. Maybe it's the cynical ex-New Yorker in me or not that's finally coming out. But I feel like my opinion and my perspective is kind of unique.
Yeah, well, I certainly look forward to hearing your talk, Corey. Thanks for joining us this morning. Let me turn back to Christine and Matt here in the studio with me. So, guys, what in terms of our theme and our breakout sessions, right? Like our format typically is, morning keynote. We've got some breakouts. We've got lunch, and then an afternoon keynote. Some more breakouts, and then maybe maybe a panel at the end. Excuse me, with some great networking opportunities. Interspersed throughout the day. So how can we expect for our theme, breaking through the noise, to be reflected in the content at the event?
Sure. Yeah. It's exciting. I think, the topic of breaking through the noise, there's a lot of different ways that you can kind of look at that as far as like what challenges are facing marketers out there. The natural thing that comes to mind is, how do I reach my customers? Customers are being bombarded by messages by more places than ever. I mean, there's few times during the day when a customer isn't within 2 feet of a device that's going to promote some message to them. So from the perspective of simply reaching your customers, what are kind of the strategies that are out there, and the ones that are going to bring the most bang for your buck, and as that relates to various verticals too. So I mentioned earlier the diversity of marketers in San Diego, everything from healthcare to software. And in a software environment, we're pretty aggressive with our marketing. In a healthcare environment, you might have some restrictions put on you as far as regulations go and how you use people's data. So that's an interesting angle. That's kind of the first pillar of the content at the conference. The second pillar is going to be kind of as a marketer, you're constantly getting marketed to. So to Corey's point, being one of those marketers out there who is marketing to marketers, I'm currently one of the marketers who's marketing to marketers. I work for a marketing technology company. Just what with all that hype and hyperbole, and everybody wants to make their tool sound, the next greatest, best thing that's out there. What are the ones that you should be picking? But not only what are the ones you should be picking, but how can you prepare to use those? So artificial intelligence is a big topic these days. There are definitely some aspects of artificial intelligence that you can kind of just bolt on to what you're doing. But I would argue that to really fully harness artificial intelligence, you have to take some steps to prepare yourself. You need to have a data foundation that you can actually leverage for artificial intelligence, kind of the old garbage in, garbage out kind of mantra where, if you're applying artificial intelligence on top of data that's inaccurate or incomplete, you might get some conclusions that aren't going to be the most effective for you. So that's the second pillar of content is kind of just the tools and how to use those tools and leverage those tools and kind of break through all the noise to pick the right ones for your business and challenge. And then the third pillar would be internally. As a marketer, in my particular role, I know I interface a lot with the sales department and a lot with the customer service department. Because ultimately we need to market to customers and we also need to bring new customers in. So we need to market to people who aren't yet customers. Over time, I think what's happening is marketers are being tasked with a fuller scope of customer experience from, the time that a customer might not even be aware that the company exists, all the way through to generating loyalty and advocacy, from that person, which is a wide swath. So I think for some marketers, they can be intimidated taking on that customer relationship, because it's more of a, historically has been more of a customer service role. There's a support department, and the support department is separate from the marketing department. But by having the marketing department working with the support department or using the same data, there are, certain synergies that you can get there. So how do marketers work internally to, with other departments to kind of maximize their effectiveness while not losing focus and producing results for the marketing bottom line? So that's kind of the third pillar. So those are the three pillars. And I think ultimately everybody has to deal with some aspect of each one. So
Sure.
So there should be something relevant in there for everybody.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Christine, in terms of the layout of the day, we have historically, the last two Art of Marketings at least, we've had four tracks and 4 breakouts each time. What will this year's event look like from that perspective?
Absolutely. We definitely wanted to improve our conference and listen to the feedback that we've gotten over the last few years from not only our loyalists, but those that are new to the event, what they're looking for from the conference. And in the past, as you mentioned, we've had 4 tracks and 4 breakout sessions. This year we're doing things a little bit differently. We have condensed some things, so we have 3 tracks and 3 breakout sessions, and we find that we're hoping that this is going to create more opportunities for people to connect to. We're all here with problems that we're facing and challenges. We want to get a different perspective on the things that we're doing, and so being able to provide that in a professional space, some areas where people can connect and network throughout the day and not just be put into one different area and rushing from one session to the next. So a little bit more flexibility in the layout of the agenda this year.
Yeah, and I think that it's easy for us to kind of get siloed into our jobs, right? And get the blinders on and lose track of colleagues and associates out in marketing in San Diego. So this is a great opportunity to kind of reconnect with those folks and meet some new ones, right? So look forward to that. So I want to thank you guys for joining me this morning for our Art of Marketing preview. I'm looking forward to the event, looking forward to seeing you there. Corey, thank you again. Are you still on the line with us?
I am indeed. Thanks a lot for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been great, and look forward to meeting you at the conference. Hope to see everyone there. This Week in Marketing with AMA San Diego on WSRadio.com, the worldwide leader in Internet talk.
Securing Our eCity Foundation is a nonprofit organization focused on cybersecurity awareness and education. Formed in 2011, their mission is to enable every San Diegan to live, work, and play safely in the cyber world. For more information, visit securingourecity.org or call 619-630-2444. Securingourecity.org, 619-630-2444. Securingourecity.org.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Looking to be a successful entrepreneur? The virtual assistant industry continues to be a top choice for those looking to start their own business. The problem can be how to become a virtual assistant. Many turn to the Bible of the VA industry, the book Virtual Assistant, the series, and it's the perfect guide for office managers, executive assistants, and other administrative professionals looking to make the transition from employee to successful business owner. Go to vatheseries.com to get your copy today.
Hi, Scale listener. This is David Finkel, co-host with Jeff Hoffman of Scale Your Business. I wanted to let you know that our newest book, Scale, was just released, and to encourage you to get your copy. The book will give you 7 proven principles to grow your business and get your life back. Scale will help you work less by getting your business to produce more. Get your copy online or at your local bookseller. For more information, visit us online at scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com.